When you hear avocado, you may only think guacamole, but let me tell you, it's so much more versatile than that. You're getting two different things here. You're getting dinners that you can make with avocado, and they're all 20-minute meals. Tonight for dinner, we are going to make a 20-minute chicken enchiladas. Now this includes an avocado salsa verde. I'm going to be blending my own, but if you want to make it even faster, you can buy avocado salsa verde in the grocery store. Okay, we're gonna start by making our sauce that's gonna go in the enchiladas. In my blender, I'm gonna put about 1.5 cups or so, not quite measuring, because it can be an estimation. And we're gonna cut one of these avocado in half. It's gonna go in here and that's gonna get blended. Okay, I think I'm actually gonna blend 1.5. And then the other half of it, we're going to cut just so we can have some avocado chunks. We're not gonna puree all of it. Okay, we're also gonna add in some cilantro. And this is obviously something that you could skip out on if you aren't a fan. So about 1/4 cup or so, this is all gonna get blended together. And now I personally like to add some cumin and some salt and pepper, maybe a teaspoon of cumin, about 1/2 teaspoon or so of salt. Let's blend this together. I've already got some chicken that I shredded off of a rotisserie chicken. And now we're gonna take that sauce and just mix that in with the chicken. I'm gonna reserve just a little bit to put on the top. Just mix that around. This is super easy to make, and since the chicken is already cooked, it takes like no time at all. Reuse up those rotisserie chicken. Now we've got my pan. You wanna spray that pan with some olive oil, whatever kind of tortillas you like, and we're just gonna start putting that chicken mixture into the tortillas, and then we'll roll them up and put them in the pan. Okay, you can also add cheese to the inside of these if you like. I am just gonna add cheese to the top after we get all of this assembled, but feel free to do it however you wanna do it. It's totally fine. Okay, let's pour the remaining mixture over the top. Make sure we get a good amount here. All right, and you guys use whatever kind of cheese you like. You could probably guess we are using the Kerrygold cheddar. All right, this is gonna go in my oven that is preheating at 400 degrees, and we're just really waiting for the cheese to melt. So it's gonna take about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm gonna take a little bite off of a corner here. Nobody will care. This will be my enchilada, okay? And it literally just came out of the oven, so. I don't know, can you guys see that steam? This is really tasty. I used a mild salsa verde, which I think is perfect for this. If you're not a fan of spice, that's probably what I would do. But you get that nice creaminess from the avocado, that puree that you pureed it together with. You get that hint of cheese on the top. The chicken is perfect in there as well. You could probably do this with ground beef too. I think it would be delicious that way, or even like a pulled pork or a pulled beef or something. But the flavors are really, really good. I love that hint of cumin, so I wouldn't leave that out if I were you. Tonight we got another 20-minute dinner. This one is an avocado and goat cheese pasta. The recipe does not call for a protein. You could easily add shrimp, chicken. We are actually going to add rotisserie chicken. I also think that a good hearty sausage could be really good in this as well. While we wait on our water to boil right back here on the stove, I am going to make up the avocado portion of our sauce. So we're gonna take one avocado and put this into our blender. I am gonna add about 1/4 of a jalapeno. You can add as much or as little jalapeno if you want. You can completely omit this if you are not a fan of spice. Also, I'm gonna add cilantro, about a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons or so. This is another thing, if you're not a huge fan of cilantro, just omit that from this recipe, that's completely fine. Now we wanna add in about 1 lime or 2 tablespoons of lime juice, and we are gonna puree all of this together in the blender. You might have to add just a touch of olive oil, maybe even water, just to get this thing going and have it start to puree together. Okay, as you can see, the water is boiling. I also added some bone broth in there. That's something that I do whenever we make rice or noodles, just to add some extra protein into that water. So we're gonna go ahead and get those noodles boiling. Okay, as these noodles start to soften up, we will push them further down into the pot, letting them boil up. Now we're gonna move over here to my saute pan and get this sauce going. I'm turning my heat onto medium, and I'm gonna toss in just a little bit of olive oil. This is probably a teaspoon or so. You really don't need very much. And to that, we're gonna add about a teaspoon of minced garlic. And you don't wanna cook this for too long. You definitely don't wanna burn it. We just want to get that really good garlic flavor in there. Now, personally, I think this recipe is gonna be a little too green for my taste. You guys know I like to add color, so we're adding in some red pepper. You definitely do not have to do this, but I feel like it will add really pretty color. As these are sauteing, if you do not like red peppers, that's completely okay. You could add tomatoes. You could omit this altogether. This is really just an eye thing for me, or a sight thing. You guys know I really enjoy to see different colors. We've got a half a cup of heavy cream here. We're gonna add this. You could also add half and half if you don't have heavy cream available. Honestly, you could probably also add milk too if that's just something that you don't wanna purchase for this recipe. I've got 10 ounces of goat cheese here. We're gonna crumble up about 4 ounces into this, but add as much or as little as you want, honestly. The recipe calls for 4 ounces, but if you really like goat cheese, go ahead and add some more. It's very mild and has like a pretty simple flavor. So if you haven't used goat cheese before, it's not something that is gonna be startling in a recipe. Kind of let this melt down. We also need to add in Parmesan cheese. When you're working with cheeses, it is always better to incorporate things slowly. Otherwise you can get where the cheese and the milk product will kind of separate. I've got my heat on medium-low right now, and I'm just letting this goat cheese kind of work together, melt in there. Let's go ahead and add in about a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. And let that melt for just a minute, and then we can add in the avocado puree that we made up. This should be interesting. I'm gonna try and just take the bottom off here. And it worked, awesome. That's what I was hoping for. So let's incorporate these together, completing our sauce. Now we will taste it and make sure if it needs salt and pepper, we definitely want to add that. Also, like I told you guys, I have some pre-shredded rotisserie chicken. We're gonna add that in and just mix it together. And I actually am gonna go ahead and turn my heat on to off because we really don't need it on anymore. It's just gonna heat that chicken through. Now, I personally think this sauce looks just a little bit too thick. So I'm gonna add a little bit of milk. And I think the reason that it might be thicker is because I added more goat cheese. That looks better to me. All right, let's taste it. That is very good. I don't think it needs salt at all. We'll let everybody kind of decide at the table if they feel like they need to add a little bit of salt to theirs. But I think it's very good. It definitely tastes like avocado, but it's a creamy avocado, which just feels really rich with that heavy cream and goat cheese. It's very good. All right, here is the dinner. It looks very delicious. I'm gonna test it. Even though we've tasted the sauce, so we already kind of have an idea of how good it is. I definitely think adding the red peppers made a difference because you just get all that color in there. It's really good. It's so simple for an easy 20-minute dinner. Very, very good, so creamy. That sauce is really delicious. Okay, we can't do an avocado video without doing avocado toast. I also want to mention here that if you really like toast, I have a video making 3 different kinds of toast and they're all fantastic. So these are great for dinner options. They're great for breakfast options. I'm telling you, it just elevates toast. I'm gonna have that linked right here so you guys can see it because it's so good. My husband is going to be making a couple of, you're doing fried eggs? One over medium and 1 fried. I'm going to make sort of more like a guacamole where I'm not worried about it being completely smooth, but my family prefers guacamole toast over actual avocado toast. So just make whichever one your family prefers. And if you go watch the toast video, you will see that debate. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of smashing here before I add in some of the other ingredients. It's gonna be sort of like in between avocado toast and guacamole toast. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of lime. Probably a teaspoon. Not only does it taste really good, but it kind of helps it from turning brown. It'll stay green a little bit longer. All right, let's add some cumin. Just about a half teaspoon or so. Now you can add salt and pepper if you want, that's totally fine. I'm just gonna add a little bit of our Auntie Nona's Everything seasoning. It's just replacing salt and pepper for us. Mix that together and that's ready to go. Now I'm gonna take a little bit out and reserve it for my son. He is not really a fan of spice, but my husband and I are. So I'm gonna take out some for him and just set that to the side. And for us, I'm gonna add a little bit of red pepper flakes. Not too much, maybe an 1/8 teaspoon or so. Okay, now we're just setting this to the side till we're ready to go. We've got some toast here in the toaster. We've got the eggs over here in the pan. All right, let's start our build. Just gonna take some of this avocado. You can also add butter to your toast if you want to. I never really feel like it needs it. Make sure you get a decent amount on there. Okay, I'm gonna add an egg. Oh, I'm gonna drop the egg. Oh, man. And then for a burst of color, we've got a few little cherry tomatoes that I just put in the pan that the eggs were cooking in. And we can just add these to the plate. And it always looks really pretty that way. You could drizzle with some balsamic vinegar. That would be really good too. But there you go. Such an easy dinner to make. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna suggest you check out this video right here. If you need more inspiration, you are not gonna be let down by this one. I hope you're having a great week. Bye. Let's go ahead and add in about a 1/4 cup. Oh, upside down there.
Fried egg is on the flip. This is all, it's a little more heat.
Our verse this week comes from Proverbs 23:24. The father of the righteous will greatly rejoice. He who fathers a wise son will be glad in him.